Ahead of their next match this weekend down at Subaru Park against Real Salt Lake, let's talk some soccer and bring on Philadelphia Union midfielder Jack McGlynn. Jack, welcome back to the show.
Sounds good. Good to be here again. Good to be here again.
Always fun to get to talk to you. Talk to us about the start of this season so far before we get into other stuff. You guys are still undefeated going into the weekend. Talk to us about what's going on to start.
Yeah, it's obviously been a really good start to the year, undefeated in the league. We know the Champions League didn't go the way we wanted to, but I think we all focused on the league after that and kind of regrouped and got together and said this is our only competition we're in right now. Let's put all our focus onto this, and it's worked out well. We've been playing really well, so we have to continue that. We know we have a tough stretch coming soon, so yeah, it'll be good.
Jack, you had another successful season last year. In the off season, what did you do to prepare, if anything, differently this season than in past seasons?
Yeah, no, I would say I worked a lot more on my body, like physically. I think I gained like 10 pounds over the off season, just kind of building my body, kind of filling into my frame. And I think it's shown through this year. I've been better defensively. My numbers are up. So yeah, it's been good.
We've been able to talk to you at different stages of your career, including right after your initial call up. This is your fourth year with the big squad now. And you said, I kind of went through what I needed to go through and mature, and I think it's paid off. Talk about that journey and some of the things you've gone through that have gotten you to this point in your career.
Yeah, I think back when I think 15, I dislocated my knee, so that was kind of tough, but it allowed me to kind of grow a little bit, and I grew like 8 inches after that. So that's kind of one stage I went through. But I think also my first couple of years here, like kind of being on the bench, seeing how the starters what they did both on and off the field, looking at a guy like Ale Bedoya who's had such a successful career, kind of taking a lot of advice from him both on and off the field, what he does to prepare. That kind of prepared me to be where I am now, kind of starting a lot and getting in a lot of games.
Did the 8 inches come along with the diet of Chipotle before every game?
It did. I think that's the secret. I hope they get it by them. But
So,
How did that become the ritual of what you were doing before games?
I think it was like my first year, and I didn't have any food in my apartment, so I'm like, God, I need something to eat before this game. And I mean, it's the simplest thing I could have done. I always loved Chipotle growing up, and I was like, oh, let me just get a plain bowl, and now it's turned into what I do every game.
You have a nutritionist with the team. Is the nutritionist cool with this?
Oh yeah, they're cool. They say as long as it works. And I mean, it's been working for me, so they're fine with it.
You
they
know,
just want
we
to have
we
protein
usually
in their
ask this of baseball players too, but you seem to have as part of the pregame ritual music. What's the music of choice?
Oh, for me, it's rap. It's kind of I always listen to rap growing up, and being like listening to New York rap because I'm from New York, you know. But yeah, it's kind of rap to get me in the mood to go.
You are from New York, and that's where you kind of found your love and passion for the game. Is it true you dribbled a mini soccer ball to and from school?
I did, yeah, I did.
Talk to us about this love of soccer, and we see the teammates try to get you from the other side over there. Talk
Yeah,
to us.
Yeah,
before that, why don't you talk to us about the teammates that are torturing you every time we do an
Every,
interview?
yeah, every time we talk to you, they seem to have.
that one was Eric, to be honest. But
Oh,
it was
okay.
Oh,
Quinn before. Quinn was giving me the middle finger earlier. I mean, I'm just getting ransacked in here at the moment.
We've talked with you about the family before. We had you one year before Thanksgiving. If you were going to give your brother a hard time about the goal scoring, I wanted to ask you about your dad, though. He was a coach, and he was somebody who kind of guided you both. Jeff's coached his son's sports. I've got young kids. What was that like to have your dad be able to play that role in your life for you?
No, I think it was huge for me. I would come home from school. He'd sacrifice so much of his time to train both me and my brother. My mom too would bring us to all of our games away, no matter how far they were. So they sacrificed so much for us, like growing up in our childhood. And you didn't realize it in the time, but looking back on it, you see how much they did and how much it helped. But my dad, I would come home from school and I would train before my training session with him. So it was kind of all those extra stuff I did with him, and he was really hard on me, and he still is. You know, and I know I have so much to improve on, so I really appreciate it for that.
who's harder on you, him or Jim Curtin?
Oh, my dad, yeah, yeah, my dad for sure. I
you've
like
been
it. It's what you need as a young player, you know.
you've been with Jim Curtin for years now. Talk about your journey with him and the growth from the young player at the academy to the guy who's the mainstay in the lineup every time he puts it out there.
Yeah, I think just being with a coach who has so much trust in young guys, it kind of just fills you with confidence every time you step on the field. And he tells me every game to just get on the ball, dominate the game, and I try to do that and reward the trust he gives me by starting me a lot.
We'll talk a little bit more about Union, but you have been involved in the lead up to the Olympics. What are your feelings as you play in each game representing your country? And was this something that you ever pictured when you were little?
I mean, it's a surreal feeling every time you put on the crest there on your chest, and to be able to have the chance to play in the Olympics. I mean, as a kid growing up, the Olympics are the biggest thing you ever see, and now to have a chance to play in that in the summers, it's kind of a surreal feeling. You gotta pinch yourself a little bit.
How cool is it to go through it with your friend Nate Harriel? I know you guys are playing basketball off the pitch and everything, but in between the basketball, how cool is it to have this Olympic journey where you wear that crest on your jerseys together?
Yeah, it is really cool. He's one of my best friends. We lived together for like 3 years, so it's kind of. And I never thought I'd play in the same national team mix. He's like 2 years older than me, so I never thought I'd get the chance. But it's really cool going through that with one of your best friends.
You know, this has been a journey for you where you started off in the program and have worked your way up to the Union. And there's a group of you that came up together, and we've talked to you about that before. Now that you're older and wiser, how much did that mean to go through a program with this group of guys?
Yeah, I think it means everything. It shows obviously how good the academy is and the coaching they have there. And I think I've known Paxton since I was like 8 years old, and kind of we went our separate ways, but we ended up back in the Union Academy with each other and kind of grew from there to the first team together. Obviously, Quinn and Brandon were all playing on the same U17 team, which at the time was a bit unfair for the other teams when we were playing against them. But yeah, no, but to kind of see how much we've all matured and improved is really cool to see now.
Off the pitch, you seem to like basketball a little bit. I enjoyed you. You kind of gave Nate Harriel a hard time at the YSC graduation, saying he's never and will never beat you. Talk about those basketball games off the pitch.
Yeah, I grew up. I would also play basketball along with soccer at my school in New York, and yeah, since I moved here, Nate is yet to beat me. I Matt Real, who went on loan. Oh my, I beat him 11-0. It's just embarrassing for him. But Ale gives me a lot of sticks, so I got to play him next now because he's been talking a lot.
How
All right.
important was that, by the way, Jeff, before we go on? How important was playing two sports for you? The skills that you got in basketball, we ask that with athletes a lot who aren't just dedicated to one sport, but they can learn different ways about their body.
Yeah, no, I think it's huge. I think playing on basketball obviously is a hard floor. A lot of different movements, cuts, and different like angles you have to take. So it kind of prepares your body to do things you're not necessarily used to doing on the soccer field. But if you need to, you kind of have it in the locker.
What are the things that are different as you play different sports? One of the things we even talked to Tim Tebow about this, is how important it was as a young kid to play different sports instead of just having your mind just focused on one thing. Is that something that you experienced too? And what translates over from what you did in basketball to what you're doing in soccer?
Yeah, I think for sure it definitely helps. It kind of broadens like it kind of just improves your overall athleticism. Soccer is so much different. It's more endurance. It's not as much sharp cuts or sprints. Say you're getting up the court in like transition or something like that. It's not as much as that. It's more endurance, kind of just round curves. It's not really sharp cuts as basketball, but it kind of balances out in the long run now. And kind of to have both, it really helps.
You've talked about some of the best advice you got about hard work. Don't beat talent if talent don't work hard. Talk about the drive that you have to keep bettering yourself. You get all this praise. You get selected to potentially be on the Olympic team. You're now with the big squad, and yet you don't seem satisfied with yourself. You talked about how your dad's hard on you, yourself, you're hard on you. Talk about that.
Yeah, no, I'm nowhere near satisfied with where I am now. I think I have so much more to improve on, and every year I think I keep getting better. But I know I'm nowhere near the level I want to be at in a couple of years. And I think being hard on yourself and being critical of yourself is the number one thing you can do to improve. And kind of doing film, seeing what you can improve on every game. I do film with the coaches here, and yeah, having a dad who's also hard on you, but also wants the best for you. That's kind of what you need in your corner to try to succeed. To succeed.
What are the things that you feel that you still need to work on? I mean, when we watch you, we don't see much that you need to work on, but obviously your dad does and your coaches do and you do. So what is it that you're still working on at this point?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of adding more goals and assists is my number one thing right now. I drop a lot to get the ball, so I don't really find myself in the final third as much as I want to, or impacting the game there because I'm so deep because I'm trying to make the build up happen for us. But I think kind of getting the balance of doing both and adding more goals and assists is what I want to do now.
I wanted to ask you about the locker room. We've talked about it with different players through the years. I mean, you guys have had a core that's kind of been here from all different countries, all around. Talk about how you guys are able to come together. You know, you have your rap. I'm sure there's other music that people
Oh
play,
yeah.
interests that they have. Talk about that comes together in the locker room for you all.
Yeah, for sure. We've had kind of the same group of guys since I've been here, so we're all really good friends off the field. The locker room's always loud, music playing. It's usually Bizo playing some absolutely strange music in there, but him and Jose just talk to I don't know how they talk to each other. They're talking like sounds, so it's kind of funny. But yeah, we all really get along both on and off the field, and I think you see that in the games.
Who gets to decide the pregame music?
Oh, that's B. That's our equipment guy. He's the pregame guy. It's kind of it's the same thing every. You know what's coming next, so it's the same every game.
Talk about the prep for this weekend. You know, the season goes on. It obviously gets long as you go into the summer. You'll have breaks. You'll leave camp. What are the goals for the next few weeks before you guys start to separate for some of these international opportunities?
Yeah, we obviously know it's going to be a tough stretch. We have a lot of games coming up in a short window, and a lot of guys are going to be missing games in the summer. So it's kind of focusing on the games, taking it one by one, and getting all the points we can before some of those guys go away, because you never know what could happen. And it's kind of securing the points now, so you don't have to rush for them later on in the season.
You know that the thing about soccer in the United States is it's different than any other sport in that you bounce around from your professional team to international teams. How do you keep the mentality of what your focus needs to be on that day and not worrying about, okay, what do I got to do when I get back to the union? Now what do I got to do when I'm with the US squad? How do you stay focused?
Yeah, I think, like I said earlier, it's just taking it day by day, training by training, kind of the way we play here at the Union and the way we play at the US is completely different. So you kind of have to flip a switch going back and forth. But I think when you're there, it's kind of you're solely focused on that. You can't really worry about say that I'm at the Union now. I can't really worry about how the Olympics are going to go if I have the chance to be there. You know, you just kind of have to focus on the next game this weekend.
Before we let you go, I did want to ask a little more of the relaxing side. You're a gamer, little Call of Duty, a little FIFA. Who do you play against for the games?
Oh yeah, well, right now we're big on Call of Duty right now. It's me, Rafa, and Nate, and BC and El Paso. We play like almost every night. So BC's he's gotten worse somehow the more we play. So he might be getting cut from the squad. But yeah, we're pretty solid, I think.
Are your teammates going to get equal time to come back at you with these responses?
That's not up to me. It's up to them. But
So
he knows.
so do you play FIFA?
Yeah, I do. I do. I'm decent. I say I'm pretty good at FIFA.
Do you play as yourself?
No, I suck. My player sucks. I cannot use. I'll be fuming.
You hear about guys that they get their ratings. Are you happy with your rating in FIFA?
No.
Have
My
you
shooting is
written
my
in?
worst attribute. Somehow my defending and my pace is stronger than my shooting. So I mean, I don't know what they're watching, to be honest.
How he develops his goals for next season. Got to get the
Yeah, exactly.
Jack, we always appreciate when you give us some time for the show. Jeff, you got anything else before we let him go?
Nope. Just
Into the
good
game?
luck this weekend, and we really hope that we get to see you representing our country.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, guys.
Thanks so much for always giving us some time, and man, take it easy.